Hello, I'm Mark Dietrich, a senior advisor with the EGI Foundation, a partner in the European Commission-funded Horizon Cloud project. H-Cloud was established to consider the future of cloud computing in Europe. The H-Cloud project examines obstacles to cloud adoption in Europe and proposes strategic actions to increase adoption, accelerate digital transformation, and enable the hoped-for socioeconomic and environmental benefits. Our conclusions are captured in our strategic analysis and a companion strategic research, innovation, and deployment agenda. We welcome your feedback on both documents, one-on-one or through online consultations that will happen in February 2022. You can also link from each one of these videos to an online survey where you can pick the most important recommendations. We have organized our findings and our recommendations into 7 sections, illustrated in this diagram, each with a video overview like this one. Let's consider the research foundation and required direction supporting Europe's cloud strategy. The Horizon Cloud team has taken a close look at 24 EC-funded cloud-related research projects running over the last 3 years. These projects have responded to the EC's calls and have covered a wide range of areas, but a few of these areas have received extra attention: automated adaptation, cloud edge orchestration, DevOps and machine learning ops, and cloud modeling. Looking at the topic areas differently, many projects have attempted to address multiple topics in a coherent way. This highlights how solving one problem in the cloud often requires related problems to be solved. It can also lead to the creation of incompatible solution stacks that are difficult for industry to exploit and adopt. Most research projects in this area require that realistic use cases represented in the project by industry partners must be included in the research plan. Here we see how different sectors are represented, with ICT providing most of the application use cases, followed by healthcare, manufacturing, and mobility. We've been discussing the cloud research landscape over the last few years. What areas do these researchers now recommend should be prioritized? They tackled this question in 2020, and we've actually included many of the recommended research areas in our strategic recommendations. These recommendations were organized into 13 specific research areas, such as SLAs, service level agreements, energy efficiency, and new data storage approaches. We can group these research areas very broadly into multi-cloud, edge computing, and the cloud-to-edge computing continuum, with federated cloud sitting at the very center of these 3 broad areas. We can also rank the individual research topics being proposed by priority, ranging from low to transformational, and time frame, from near term to longer term. This ranking was performed by the research groups themselves. Our online surveys on research recommendations give you the opportunity to offer your own opinions about the topics that deserve the most attention. The European Alliance for Industrial Data, Edge and Cloud, a consortium of 27 key players in the European IT landscape, developed a detailed analysis of the challenges faced by Europe's cloud sector. As with the Future Cloud Research Roadmap, H-Cloud has incorporated the Alliance's full range of recommendations, including those that include a research component, for consideration by the broader cloud community. Our online surveys give you the opportunity to offer your own opinions about the topics that should be prioritized. Right now, I'd just like to highlight those recommendations that involve either research alone or research coupled with deployment. Over 1.5 billion euros are suggested for research topics alone, while 11 billion euros are suggested for mixed research and deployment topics. Although these are significant figures, they are consistent with the role that the cloud is expected to play in Europe's digital transformation. Let's conclude with an overview of the suite of research-related recommendations that H-Cloud proposes for Europe's cloud strategy going forward using our 4-pillar structure. In the data awareness pillar, we have identified 11 research-related recommendations touching on each of the 3 subsections. Several are proposed by the Alliance, along with resources estimated at 750 million euros. Most of the recommendations overall relate to creating data spaces and their underlying infrastructure, but a few address fundamental changes in data sovereignty and keeping data private. Similarly, in the data-driven pillar, we identify 12 research-related recommendations spread across all the subsections of this area. 2 recommendations from the Alliance are intended to create better platforms to enable data-driven businesses, and they might also be considered in the next pillar. Building a strong EU market triggers over 40 research-related recommendations. More than half of these focus on the very hard problem of efficiently creating and managing seamless capabilities assembled from multiple sources, whether you call it hybrid, multi-cloud, or federation. 21 of the Future Cloud Cluster's research roadmap challenges alone deal with various parts of this problem. 2 significant research proposals from the Alliance also fall into this area. One specific example of the kind of resource that will need to be managed in this efficient way is edge infrastructure, and 3 research recommendations focus on this specifically. Finally, 13 recommendations target improvements to the basic operation of cloud infrastructure, including 1 from the Alliance and 4 from the Future Cloud Cluster. Drilling down to the foundational level, 4 recommendations, 2 from the Alliance and 2 from the Future Cloud Cluster, address cybersecurity challenges in particular. On the very important topic of enabling carbon-neutral digital transformation, we present 25 recommendations. 16 of these come from the BorderStep Institute, which has examined this topic in detail. The Alliance tackles this challenge with 3 of its own research-oriented recommendations. Hopefully this overview and summary will give you a new perspective on the challenges facing cloud computing in Europe and the critical role it can play in Europe's digital future. We encourage you to take a more detailed look at our draft report, and we look forward to your feedback and comments.